Hello, I am Leigh from Evolving Souls, or Quantum Leigh on Instagram. I hope you are all doing well. Coming on to talk about inadequacy, self-worth, self-devaluations. Talking about, I actually briefly spoke about this on my last video with regards to the muscles and the bones and the aching and the reflections on what we see within our physical of inadequacy. But, you know, it's quite a deep shadow within the collective. And there's not many people that don't get this crop up at some point. And it can really affect us going forward. It can affect our friendships. It can affect our relationships, like our partnerships, relationships within the family. It can affect our businesses, our work, our abilities to do things. It can also affect us physically because we will run consistent loops of sorry, the dogs next door just put me off. Yeah, so we can run complete consistent loops of inadequacies where we're going in and out, in and out, in and out of healing, and then our body's having chronic muscle issues or bone issues. So, for instance, we've got, I spoke about last week, I think, was the neck. So the neck is sort of related to an intellectual self-devaluation. So, you know, I'm not good at what I do. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I don't have enough wisdom. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough teaching, learning. You know, I'm stupid. This could affect us within the, well, it will affect us within the neck area when it goes into healing. But if we are not completely healing these inadequacies that we are holding, then they will be in a consistent loop. And then we might have chronic neck issues. We might have a neck issue for a bit and that neck issue might come back. This is something that I myself have personal experience of with regards to the neck. And then, and again, last week I said about the shoulders, which is the relationship. You know, I'm not a good enough partner. I'm not a good enough friend. Where you might have done something that almost shocked yourself that you've done it, but you've done it because you feel you're inadequate. And these are programs that are running from a very, very young age. And a lot of it comes from the school system, but also from our parents and just the conditioning in general. Nowadays, we have social media, which a lot of young people are on, and they are getting a glimpse into other people's lives. But on social media, life looks perfect. And we know that life's not perfect. Even as adults, we look on social media. We come across people who look like they've got the perfect life, because obviously a lot of people only post their perfect stuff on social media. No one posts, you know, the crappy stuff of their life. Well, not no one, actually. I know quite a few people do, but a lot of people don't. And when we're talking about social media stars, if you like, I'm really saying that loosely, influencers, celebrities, or even just people that you follow generally, family, friends, and all they do is post the good stuff. And children, teenagers, and even adults can see this and think that these people's lives are perfect. My life's awful. And they can go into that victim mode, that inadequacy, and they can be running it consistently. And it can be triggered every time they go on their social media sites. And it's a really awful culture, the social media culture, these social media influencers, and these people that do, YouTube channels, and like they do like this amazing stuff, and the kids watch them, they do games, and people look at these people as if they have an amazing life, but no one sees what's going on behind. And a young developing brain may not understand that when the cameras go off, their life's a completely different story. And there you go, you're running inadequacy, the inadequacy shadow, simply from thinking other people's lives are better. But I mean, it does go a lot deeper than that. But social media is definitely contributing to people's self-devaluations by thinking they're not good enough. And it's almost like a program that sort of runs in the subconscious. So when you're exposed to stuff like this, it's almost confirming that your life's crap, or you're not good enough. And at the moment, I feel that this is a really, really important discussion to have, because no one wants to talk about not no one, sorry, when I say that, I don't mean no one, because there's lots of people that do, but a lot of people don't want to talk about their inadequacies. They don't want to talk about the fact that they don't feel good enough, because they don't feel good enough to want to talk about it. They don't feel strong enough. So this is, we've got to open up this discussion of what it feels like to feel inadequate. We've got to be honest with ourselves. Do I feel inadequate? Why do I feel inadequate? We need to look at working in ways where we can build up ourselves instead of keep running these self-devaluation loops. I mean, in German New Medicine, it's not something that's expected. But usually when we're facing a self-devaluation conflict, so it's always a shock. So it's always something that makes you go, right? It's never something expected. But when we are facing a self-devaluation conflict, it usually is unexpected, because it sort of rears itself up. And there can be so many tracks and triggers that can sort of reignite this conflict, which makes people have chronic issues, chronic back issues, chronic knee issues, hip issues, neck, shoulders. There's so many chronic issues with regards to the bones and the muscles and the tissues, and it also includes the lymph. There's so much, and it tells a story from a G&M perspective when we're looking at people that have physical issues. So I do feel that we really need to sit up and talk about how we are feeling and talk to others, and not so you can get reassurance that you're not that way, because that comes from within. So we can try and look outside of ourselves to get the reassurance and the love and the confirmation that we are good enough, but that will only come from within. We cannot get that outside of ourselves. We need to work out when we was a child, when do we feel inadequate? Why did we feel inadequate? Let's start digging into the sort of inner child and bringing out why and when we felt inadequate, but also bringing in tools to help us bring self-love into ourselves, affirmations, writing a journal about all the good things that you have got, being grateful, gratitude lists, getting yourself grounded is imperative. And I feel that this needs to be done every morning. I've been getting this guidance coming through that we need to get ourselves out barefoot on the ground as much as possible, especially in the UK before the winter really sets in. But just because it keeps us in more of alignment, and then we can start working on ourselves in a completely different way, because we're more grounded in the morning. So just trying to find yourself tools that work for you, even sitting down and having a chat with yourself, meditation, and really like mirror work. Mirror work is brilliant. And honestly, at first it can feel really, really strange. Standing in the mirror, talking to yourself and giving yourself self-love can feel really, really like, this isn't me. I don't believe this. But you've got to reprogram your brain, because your brain's already programmed to think that you're not good enough. So now you've got to unprogram that and reprogram into the good feelings that you feel about yourself. Does it mean that you're never ever going to feel inadequate? Of course not. Absolutely. These are still going to go flutter into your minds, but it means that they won't take over. It means that you can catch it the minute it comes in. The minute that inadequacy comes in, you can catch it, like literally, got it, and consciously connect with it. See what's in the environment. What happened when that come in, and stop it in its tracks. so you don't have chronic symptoms, so you're not having chronic issues, and so you're living a life more joyful. Just to let you know, I am not perfect, and I'm certainly not living that life where I think that I'm amazing, because I suffer quite a lot with this. And this gene key 48 inadequacy, is very prominent in my charts, I think. So in my my normal gene key chart, it is my EQ, and I believe it's also the collective EQ, which is the emotional intelligence. So it's age 8 to 14. So it's my EQ, and it's also the collective EQ. So it's happened within the collective on that age to 14. But I also have another chart, a sidereal chart, that my wonderful friend Quirky Cosmo done for me, that, and you can hit her up for that, by the way, which is based on where the actual alignments of the planets were at your time of birth, and that is in my chart twice. So I know that it's a very big one for me, and it's a battle that I have a lot because I suffer with a lot of neck issues, neck and shoulder, and they always come together. And a lot of the times I know it's about holding tension, but I also know it's very much based around a lot of the trauma that I suffered with an ex-partner who was extremely violent. And I know that because I have a jaw, neck and shoulder issue, and it comes together, and it's usually when I'm holding tension, and that's usually around when just before my period starting, because the tension, because when we're before our period starts, we are in what we call autumn in the season of our menstrual cycle, and we want to speak our truth, we want to speak out a lot more, but sometimes we might feel we can't, and sometimes we might feel we don't want to, because actually what we want to speak out isn't very nice, and because we might not be so, you know, empathetic with what we're saying, so we decide not to, but we hold a lot more tension in this time. You know, PMT, or she's due on, you can feel the tension in your body, and this is when it gets reactivated for me. And actually it was only this weekend that I've realized that this comes from a deep inner trauma of inadequacy from my from that relationship. And I was very young at this age, so I was just a teenager, and I was 15, 16, so I was still a child, and I was still, or, you know, I was already feeling inadequate, and I was already feeling, you know, with not having value for myself, for getting myself into this kind of relationship, because we you know, when you're feeling like that, you're looking for love, you're gravitating towards a male for love, because maybe you don't have that at home with the father figure or whatever. So you gravitate towards that. You gravitate towards that love. And it's always with, well, 9 times out of 10, it's usually with the wrong person. So anyway, already running them inadequate programs, then getting into a relationship that makes you feel even more inadequate. And it's taken me, so this was 15, 16, I'm now 39, and it's taken me 24 years to realise the crux of the root cause of what this is happening when it comes every month for my period. So it's just showing me that when I'm coming into my autumn, so being aware of your menstrual cycle, when I'm coming into the autumn and I'm, you know, holding the tension, and I need to release a lot of stuff, that this is the time I need to journal. This is the time I need to really give myself self-love and be aware of it. I am home educating my daughter, so it's very difficult to get time to be able to do stuff for myself, but there is always time to do things. You can always spend 5 minutes. But so anyway, that's what I want to say. Let's be aware. Let's start talking about our low self-worth. Let's open up. Let's open up a discussion, and let's start clearing these and becoming aware of these and becoming conscious of these. Stop lying to ourselves that we don't ever feel that way, and just be honest with ourselves. And you know what? Give yourself self-love. Give yourself love, because it's not a narcissistic behaviour to love yourself. It's important. With that, I'm going to have to go because I'm up to 15 minutes. I hope you all have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. Please excuse the wonderful bed head that I am holding right now. And I will hopefully catch up with you all soon. Bye.